Well, welcome today. Thank you so much for spending some time. We're going to get started because we have a lot to cover. And I'm really excited today to really be focusing on coloradogives.org, the tools and what buttons we should be clicking to prepare for Colorado Gives Day and for any of your year-round campaigns that you're running. Today's webinar is Engaging Your Network. We're driving more donations through coloradogives.org. And this is training webinar 3. Part 2, and today is August 29th. My name is Jordan. I'm the Nonprofit Success Manager for Colorado Gives Foundation, which powers coloradogives.org. This webinar is being recorded, and so we ask you to please remain on mute until we ask you to raise your hand or unmute. And leverage the chat. We're going to be doing that today throughout. All questions, anything that comes up here that maybe I didn't get to or didn't get to in enough detail for you, leverage our customer support team. They are a year-round full-time customer support team, Monday through Friday. And the quickest way to access them is by emailing support@coloradogives.org. A recording disclaimer, especially for today, we are going to be looking at some example pages. So all of that data that you're going to see on the screen is going to be fake, aka not real people. When we do look at a few examples of real organizations, it's all going to be public-facing content. All right, so if you weren't able to join us live for part 1, just a quick refresher on some of the things that we covered. So in part 1, we covered the Colorado Gives Day resources, which are also included in this slide deck. You'll get the slide deck and the recording after today's webinar. We talked about targeting different donor segments. So who in your network is low-hanging fruit or who you can ask something more specific for your digital fundraising campaigns. We talked about acquisition versus retention, as well as activating your supporter network. So what are the different asks that you can be presenting to these different buckets of folks that you want to participate and invite in to your Colorado Gives Day campaign? And then we talked a little bit more about tactics. So how you might approach some of these different segments of your audience. Today, we are going to put the dots together. And so we talked about the different segments of your audience. Today, we're going to talk about the different tools and how to set them up for your different audience groups. So we're going to talk about peer-to-peer fundraising, recurring gift setup, matching grant setup, personalizing your tools, forms and widgets, and business group giving. So let's get started. All right, just like before, I love to talk about the takeaways before we dive in, so you know what you're getting into and what you can expect after this webinar. So I want you guys to know that each of these tools can be used for different segments of your current network. And so while I may be suggesting matching grants for major donors, there are many scenarios outside of what I'm suggesting today that you can apply to your network. So your homework really is to identify those buckets of supporters and how you'd like to engage them. I chat with nonprofits every day, and while it may sound repetitive, a lot of folks don't know that we are a year-round free platform. So I just want to encourage folks that whether you're jumping in maybe in May and in Q3 and a little bit more for Colorado Gives Day, or whether this is your full-fledged fundraising site that you are using all year long, this is a free resource for all nonprofits in Colorado. It is easy to enroll and join. It's one question to get started. And we want as many people to benefit and leverage these tools whenever and however they need to build capacity and raise more funds. And last, again, we are going to talk about a lot today. We are talking to all nonprofits in Colorado about how to participate and use coloradogives.org. I am not encouraging you necessarily to do all of these things for all of your campaigns. So first, I want you to just set some campaign goals for Colorado Gives Day. And then from there, you're able to pick your different segments and your strategy and the tools that you're using to measure the success of your campaign this year and iterate on it in future years or in future campaigns. All right, so I've included in this slide deck all of the great Colorado Gives Day resources available. We're going to breeze through them so we have time for a demo, but here's a quick refresher. So today is the Engaging Networks webinar 2, and we should see the nonprofit toolkit by or before September 16th. September 18th, we are going to do a live webinar reviewing the toolkit. And then October 3rd and 10th, we are going to talk all about prizes. So those are live webinars that you can join or watch the recording afterward. You just have to RSVP. October 17th, we're doing the final checklist. Is everything in place before coloradogives.org goes live November 1st for Colorado Gives Day? And just a reminder for the general Colorado Gives Day timeline, everything starts November 1st. And so we are going to have an early giving start November 1st. All online donations through the platform start counting towards your campaign and the incentive funds. And we're also having a virtual nonprofit kickoff. So a party, a celebration for all of our wonderful Colorado nonprofits. And then as you see, we move towards that turkey, we are getting into giving season. And so we have Giving Tuesday, December 3rd on coloradogives.org. Then we move into the big day. It's Colorado Gives Day. All of the prizes and power hours and media is focused on giving back to Colorado organizations. And that momentum flows right into your end of year fundraising. Some resource links for you, so you're not out there just alone clicking. All of what we are talking about today, you can find FAQs and how-to articles and videos for. So we have a nonprofit resources page, which I'll show you how to find on coloradogives.org. We have a full help center with FAQs that take you through really how to click each button to get what you need out of the site. As I mentioned, full-time customer support team, and I also put together just a quick link resource. So all of the resources that I'm commonly sharing with nonprofits. A reminder that these webinars you need to RSVP for. So the Colorado Gives Day webinars are posted on our nonprofit webinar page. And so go ahead and make sure you're RSVP'd for the following webinars so that you either can join live, which we'd love, or if you're busy, you can still watch the recording. We also have a series of next after webinars. So these are also preparing you specifically around digital fundraising for Colorado Gives Day. So if you need some extra detailed information about how you should set up your campaign and track its success, these webinars are for you. And last, but certainly not least, if you are a little bit short on time, like we all are, or on capacity, like we all are, we are providing a free Catch a Fire subscription. If you haven't heard of Catch a Fire before, this is a platform that allows you as a nonprofit to come to the table and get free advice, consultation, and work, pro bono work from professional volunteers. Colorado Gives Foundation is paying for your subscription. So all you have to do is go to this QR code, this link, submit your email to get started. Any nonprofit on coloradogives.org is eligible to get a free Catch a Fire subscription. If you need any work done, digital fundraising or otherwise, check out this resource. All right. One more slide before we get into the demos. So I wanted to bring us back to our part 1 conversation where we talked about how we might group our different donor segments. So here's a refresher. I like to think of our different potential segments as donor segments, group segments, and program segments. And this is very general. Your specific chart may look different or very much more specific. Donor segments may be major donors, returning donors, recurring donors, and those are specific and unique segments outside of the general segments that you already should be talking to. So new donors and donors that are giving frequently. Group segments, business giving, so businesses and employees giving as a group collectively to your nonprofit. Board members, volunteers, and event attendees. These are all people that are highly engaged and can do more than potentially just donate to your campaign for Colorado Gives Day. And last, but certainly not least, the people that you're serving. So the program segments like program participants, alumni of those programs, people who have benefited and moved on successfully, and program partners. So those people that help make things happen, but maybe aren't quantified as a volunteer or an employee of your nonprofit. So these are great segments to try and target for Colorado Gives Day. All right, let's get into it. So our first demo for today is peer-to-peer fundraising. Just a quick refresher on why we are talking about peer-to-peer fundraising. We are talking about this because it is going to maximize how you leverage and celebrate with all of your supporters. So who might be a peer-to-peer fundraiser? It really could be anyone you identify. You just need to ask. But peer-to-peer fundraisers aren't going to be all of your donors. Peer-to-peer fundraisers are volunteers. They are alumni. They're board members oftentimes. We see a lot of board members creating fundraiser pages for Colorado Gives Day, and maybe staff of your nonprofit. We also see those served by your programs and those affected by the challenges that your mission is addressing. Those are also great peer-to-peer fundraisers, as well as their family members and network of friends. Some other folks that you might consider targeting for peer-to-peer fundraising: younger supporters, lower dollar donors, or anyone who has a hero story. So anyone who is inspired and you think can tell a great story with their friends and family. They don't need to be the mayor of a city in order to tell a story, share a page, and get their friends and family to give back. And so I raised $800 last year for Colorado Gives Day. I sent out 2 emails with my fundraiser link to about 15 or 20 folks within my very close circle. That is way more than I could give as an individual. And I was also able to invite everybody else in to the causes that I cared about through this fundraiser page. So that's just a personal example. As you can tell by this graphic, without peer-to-peer fundraising, you're still getting donations, right? You're still engaging them. There's still a feel good. But with peer-to-peer fundraising, you're both engaging that individual and their network. So you're maximizing and bringing in new donors through the individual supporters that you're asking to raise funds on your behalf. Let's talk about all of the different peer-to-peer fundraising pages on Colorado Gives. So coloradogives.org has 3 peer-to-peer fundraising pages that you can choose from. The first and the most common is the individual fundraiser page. Next is team pages. So think marathons. And last is event pages. These 3 are available in multiple places across coloradogives.org for you to easily click a button as a nonprofit, or for any individual to create a page like this and attach it to your organization page. So individual fundraisers can be created by a nonprofit admin or by the public, and they're doing this on the fundraise button on your organization page, which we'll take a peek at. Individual fundraisers also allow you to manage all the pages under campaigns in your admin section, which we'll take a look at. The main purpose of these individual fundraiser pages really is to tell a more specific campaign story. Now, whether that's your campaign story as a nonprofit, you want to raise $10,000 for a new soup kitchen, or whether that's an individual supporter's specific story. These individual fundraiser pages are meant to capture and celebrate that story outside of any other general campaigns going on. We are empowering individuals to raise funds. And these pages are direct donations to your nonprofit. So any donations to an individual fundraiser page is going directly to your nonprofit, and you can track all of that in your nonprofit's reporting on coloradogives.org. Team pages, oftentimes we see them used for marathons or sporting events, but really the content is very flexible. And so these team pages, the main purpose is to group together a bunch of individual fundraiser pages. These team pages can allow direct donations to one nonprofit, or they can also allow individuals to fundraise for multiple nonprofits, all under one page and one leaderboard. These leaderboards are great for providing friendly competition and excitement. And these team pages have matching grants as well as fundraiser templates, so that anybody joining this team doesn't have to land on a blank fundraiser page when they click create. Last is events. Event pages are my favorite because I think they're the most dynamic. And so you can create them as an admin, or any individual can create an event page. They have leaderboards, matching grants, fundraiser templates, a great sponsor section, and they sync with Eventbrite, amongst other things. So it's a great page for you to use for your next event, gala, golf tournament, back to school, capital campaign, really whatever you want to represent online, you can use an event page for to spur one, individual donations to your nonprofit, or have fundraising for multiple nonprofits through your event page. All right, let's take a look at the demo. So for peer-to-peer fundraising, we are going to start on coloradogives.org. We are going to head to Colorado Gives sample nonprofit and see what I did there. If you're a little bit, if you're new to the site, once you're logged in as an admin, you can see all of the pages that you manage as an admin. Also, you can see down here, I have my own user profile. I can see managed causes, donation history, recurring gifts. So this is all available from me right here once I log in. But for today, I'm going to Colorado Gives sample nonprofit. From here, you can see that there is the ability for folks on the public facing page. So we are on the public facing organization page. Folks can click fundraise to create a fundraiser immediately connected to your organization page. So this would be the main way you would encourage folks to create an individual fundraiser page connected to your nonprofit. When you click, it takes just a few moments for any individual to create a fundraiser page. I have landed on a blank page, but maybe I would like a little bit of help. And so if you are coaxing people to create an individual fundraiser page by clicking fundraise here, you should also go to fundraising tools, fundraising templates, and you should create a fundraising template so that folks don't have to land on a blank fundraiser page. You can make it themed for maybe a fall campaign or your Colorado Gives Day campaign. But this allows you to have an example fundraiser title, goal, add some images relative to your nonprofit, a short story, and more content. So this is going to show up when any individual creates a fundraiser. They can choose a template to help them get started. That is the main way you would engage someone to create a fundraiser. As an organization, you can also create individual fundraisers. I like to do it up here. There's a little plus sign. It might be hidden to some of you, but right here, you can come in here and create an individual fundraiser page connected to your organization. You can start a team, or you can start an event, all from the back end as you're logged in as an admin. While we're here, I also want to mention how you manage your campaigns for peer-to-peer fundraising. So we have a campaigns area which shows all of the pages connected to your organization page. So any fundraiser created by you or any individual can be shown here. Reports can be downloaded. You can do things like toggle on and off discoverability. And so this is really easy to use, but really robust management of peer-to-peer fundraising. So I encourage you guys not to be intimidated by the idea of peer-to-peer fundraising because we give you the tools and the dashboard to monitor it. Additionally, you can add a process. So maybe your organization wants to make sure and approve any individual that's creating a fundraiser page on your behalf. You can simply toggle this on. And that way, when someone creates a fundraiser page, you as an admin get a notification. You have to hop in here and click approve before that page goes live. And so if you want a little bit of more control as you're asking these folks to set up peer-to-peer fundraiser pages, you can do that in the add a review process. So this is the campaigns area related to peer-to-peer fundraising. This is where you can manage any peer-to-peer fundraising page connected to your organization. Let's take one more peek at another area on Colorado Gives where these fundraiser pages can be created. So at the top here, you'll see navigation really focused for donors. We want donors to take action when they land on this site so they can donate to your nonprofit. We're going to Ways to Give. And from here, we are going to Fundraise. This page allows any individual to read a little bit more about what page they might want to create. And so you can jump to fundraisers, teams, or events, read a little bit more, and then create a page connected to your favorite nonprofit. So there is both a public-facing way that anybody can create these pages, as well as for your campaigns, you should be targeting and asking specific groups of folks to create these pages and raise funds on your behalf. So that is a fundraiser for individuals. Let's take a look at what an event page looks like. So we'll first create an event page. We'll click Get Started. We will launch Event Manager. And here we go, folks. We are on a beautiful event page that you can customize. So it's not scary, it's totally free, and you can set this up for any of your fall events where you might want to direct donors to raise funds or to donate on behalf of the event and the goals. Similarly, a team page is going to have the same feel as you create it. Get started, launch team, and you are landing on a team page. And so here you're setting up the great big image on the background. You are adding colors. We have some defaults. So if you don't have a stock image, we provide something to make this page look really robust for people landing on it. So within all of these pages, you have the ability to set up matching grants. You have the ability to also have a fundraiser template so people don't have to start from scratch. And you have the ability to run reports, manage participants, see the different campaigns, so the different peer-to-peer fundraising pages associated with your page, and manage some additional settings that allow you to really customize the experience for anybody that's participating. So these are the 3 different page types and how you can access them. If you are looking to discover what page type might be best for you, I encourage you to go ahead and click. Start setting one up. Pull up the FAQ related to teams or related to event pages. We have a couple that tells you how to make those pages awesome. And figure out what page might work best for your organization. I'm going to go ahead and say we see mostly individual fundraiser pages and event pages leveraged, although we see some fabulous team pages as well.
Jordan, can you give another example or two of a good case study for a team page?
Sure. Let's pull it up. Let me head here. We're going to head to coloradogives.org. We're going to search. I'm going to use an example from Ascend Performing Arts. So we are landing on their organization page, which looks beautiful. We are heading to fundraising tools as an admin of their organization page. We're going to campaigns to check out all of their amazing campaigns. And we are going to do teams and events. They did an incredible campaign recently that raised almost $50,000. It was their first peer-to-peer fundraising campaign. And so this is what a page might look like outside of the traditional marathon team page. For this event, they really spelled out why it was vital, how the contributions make a difference. And while the page was live, there was the ability to donate or join the team. So join this leaderboard. And so this might be a example of a team page. These pages have individual fundraiser pages in the leaderboard. So these are individuals that have joined this team and they are fundraising on behalf of this organization. For this particular view, we can see that this is an individual page. It's also connected to a team page. So we can see that right here. And they did a fabulous job. Personalized picture, specification up here right above the donation button, as well as a goal, which they surpassed. Giving activity, as well as a really heartfelt message directly from this particular fundraiser. On these pages, which are individual fundraiser pages, you have access to widgets, which we'll talk about, matching grants. You can see a donations report through a fundraiser page. You can even influence the checkout to make it even more custom. And there's additional settings that are available. So that is what it looks like to click through a team page to a fundraiser page. I can drop this. I'll drop some examples. Let's also see, while we're talking about this, we can all see some great examples in real time. So let's head to search. And let's play around with the filters a little bit. If you want to see some example pages, you can do that in the filter section of the search. See what other people are doing. Maybe you just want to see a team page. Great. You can see different team pages that are happening. Maybe you want to see an event page. Wonderful. There are some amazing event pages that we'll take a look at. Here is an event page, or excuse me. Let's see. Oh, I see what happened. I had donations matched on. There we go. So we're heading back to events. and we can see some amazing events that are happening right now. So if you want to discover some additional pages and get inspiration, you can use those filters that are publicly available on Colorado Gives. This is a great example of an event page, and they are being created all year long on coloradogives.org. We love a capital campaign, and it is really important to get capital campaigns out in the digital space so anybody can give back, not just your major supporters. You can see on this page, as I referenced, there's the ability to donate directly. There's also the ability to join this event. When I click join as a user, I have the ability to create a fundraiser page, or I could join an existing team page that someone else created. Or I could create my own team page. And so all of these allow someone to, in a few clicks, join that leaderboard, join that campaign, and create an individual fundraiser page to raise funds. And again, not everybody's going to be a peer-to-peer fundraiser that lands on this page. And that's why it's important on these team and event pages to note that we also have a direct donate button that can give to just a single nonprofit running an event or team page, or to multiple nonprofits. All right, let's head back to
Hey, Jordan, we still seem to have a lot of questions in the chat. Some of them are about using templates and setting up templates for individual pages. There still seems to be some confusion about when it's best to use a team page versus a group page. Like, can you kind of walk through folks the best practice again on that? And then just a reminder for anybody, if you want to come off mute and ask your questions of Jordan, feel free. If you don't want to do that, keep dropping them in chat and I'll keep pulling them for you.
Yeah. So really, the difference here, the decision point between a team page and event page is really some of the functionality. So for a team page, you'll see here that the display of the leaderboard is on the side. So it's a little bit smaller. And so event content is front and center. And there's a little bit less up here, in my opinion, branding opportunity on these team pages. As far as the functionality, they're grouping individual fundraiser and team pages underneath this page. And so that is their main purpose. And so whether you choose a team page or an event page, there's no wrong choice. The difference between a team page and event page is that these event pages have the ability to add things like sponsor sections down here. And from my perspective, I think it's a little bit more of a better experience from someone landing on here as far as the branding. So more branding available to really showcase your organization, the event, logo, sponsors. And this also does integrate with Eventbrite. So if you are running registration through Eventbrite, you can leverage an event page. And so there's some slight differences there between a team page and event page. But really, as far as practicality, which one you're choosing, you can't go wrong. And if you decide that you want to use a different page, again, all of this is free to you to use and to explore and discover. Now, Cindy, you had said that there was a question specific to team pages versus event pages versus group pages. Is that correct?
That is correct. Thank you.
Okay. So let's head back to, I'm going to head to sample nonprofit. And again, the 3 pages that we are talking about here today are fundraiser pages, team pages, and event pages. Those are true peer-to-peer fundraising pages. If you are looking to create a group giving page, you would do that under the business section on the site. And we're going to cover that here, but I just want to be clear that group giving pages are specifically for groups or employee giving. So businesses are creating group giving pages. to give back to one or many nonprofits. All right, let's keep going to keep up momentum. So Cindy, has there been any other questions outside of differentiating between a team and an event page that we should address?
I think we're pretty good for now, but we'll give people a chance to come off mute again if they have questions. We'll keep going for now.
Okay, great. All right. Now we are going to talk about setting up recurring gifts. All right. So what we want to make sure you understand about recurring gifts is that they are the most valuable gift type for your nonprofit. Recurring donors give 42% more per year. They also give 440% more over a lifetime. And 75% of recurring donors continue giving for at least 6 months, many for years. To give you an example of what we are experiencing with recurring givers on coloradogives.org, for those that participated in the recurring gift match last year, so any donors that set up a new recurring gift during the Colorado Gives Day time period, we saw that on average, those folks are continuing their gifts and generally across the board for 16 months. That's amazing. They're keeping their gifts active on Colorado Gives for, on average, 16 months. Really exciting. We are looking to empower donors to set up monthly gifts and manage them through coloradogives.org. So any individual can come to coloradogives.org. They can set up a recurring gift for your nonprofit, and they can also manage that gift directly from their user account. That eliminates a lot of customer support and handholding for you as a nonprofit. We also have built-in recurring and retention reports that make tracking your recurring giving program through Colorado Gives as easy as possible. And the other thing that is really exciting about recurring giving this year is that we are bringing back the $250,000 recurring gift match. And so a donor's first recurring gift, up to $100, could be matched for Colorado Gives Day 2024. And that starts November 1st until funds are exhausted. And so this is an opportunity for you guys to really start asking and provide an incentive for folks that you want to target as recurring givers. Recurring gifts. So when you are considering who you might target as a recurring giver, you want to target loyal and dedicated supporters, those who have been giving for years, and those who used to be recurring givers. So people who have been giving for years, but maybe aren't on a schedule with you, it's a great appeal and approach to provide them the option of making it as easy as possible to give back consistently. For those who used to be recurring donors, this is the program for them. Talk to them about the $250K match, refresh that recurring gift with them through this campaign. Of course, any micro or one-time donors might be great candidates for recurring gifts. And as I mentioned, anybody who's inconsistent, who's not on a plan, who gave for an event in 2022 and then gave 2 more times in 2023, but really isn't consistent with how they're giving back to your programs. Check writers, people who love you and take the effort to lick that stamp and, okay, we don't lick stamps anymore, but put that stamp on that envelope. Why not ask them if they would be willing to set up a monthly recurring gift? And then when you are talking about Colorado Gives Day 2023, you should be taking a look at the donors who either gave large gifts incrementally or gave around $100 for Colorado Gives Day 2023. The appeal of matching their first gift this year, if they set it up as recurring for up to $100, makes it really appealing to certain segments of your audience, especially if they gave similarly last year. If you are asking for a recurring gift, you need to adjust your value proposition to compel folks to look at the big picture of how their monthly investment is helping and impacting the communities that you serve. I linked here some example matching gift language that I loved, and just know that in the toolkit coming out mid-September, we will also have some language around the 250K recurring match and how you can communicate that to your different audiences. All right, let's take a look at recurring gift setup. So we are going to go over a few things here today. First, I want to start as an admin logged into my organization page. I am heading to checkout. I am heading to the donation form. Oops, excuse me. I forgot about that. I'm heading to checkout. I am heading to the donation form. And from here, I have the ability to do a couple of things. If you choose, you can default your entire donation form to monthly. Folks can always toggle back. We are never forcing anybody to do a one-time or a monthly donation. So you do have this setting available. If you want to do something that's a little less permanent, so maybe you don't want all of your donors to experience a defaulted form to monthly, you can copy your direct link to donate, and this is going to get people directly to your donation page. From here, you have the ability to adjust your URL so it defaults your form. So I've added just a little bit of text onto the back of my URL. And now this is the URL I can use when I'm targeting specific audiences and asking them to give a monthly gift. You'll see here again, folks can always toggle back, but doing subtle things like this help your conversion rates when people are landing directly on a form when you're asking them to give, and that form is customized or relevant to the ask that you're giving them. All right. When we head back to coloradogives.org, we can go directly to the checkout area to take a look at some other options for recurring gifts. So in addition to setting up recurring gifts through the direct to donate button, you do have the ability to customize your suggested donation amounts. So you can make these donation amounts more relevant to your monthly gifts. When you are setting up a recurring gift, just know that on the front end, when someone is clicking donate, they are going to a page where they can always toggle back and forth between. Recurring gifts are able to be set up for one nonprofit, and multiple recurring gifts can be set up under one person's user account. I'm seeing some questions here. I love it. Okay, great. We'll take those in just a couple of minutes. When you are considering how you are asking folks to give for a recurring gift, again, it's not going to be every individual that is going to set up a recurring gift. So it is important to segment your audience and talk specifically to folks that you think are the best candidates for setting up a recurring gift. All right, so let's take some questions about recurring gifts, if there are any.
Sorry, I had to come off my mute button, Jordan. One question that we had was, can you integrate other online giving platforms where recurring gifts may be set up with Colorado Gifts so you can take advantage of the match? I don't think so, but I wanted to ask the question.
Good question. No. So in order to qualify for the 250K recurring gift match, the recurring gift has to be set up on coloradogives.org. And so that is the way that we can verify that match happened and be able to disperse those match funds to you post Colorado Gives Day.
Perfect.
Good question.
We get a lot of questions about the data. Can you go back on and show people how they can see prior years data? The key, folks, is to customize your custom date range to just 1 year. So January of 2022 to December of 2022, then you'll be able to see your data. But we get this question a lot that people can't see any previous information.
Okay, so just like Cindy said, the trick here is using these filters. So you're able to put in a custom date range, but just as Cindy said, it's only going to be 1 year's worth of data. So if you want 2022, you have to look at the span for 2022 and download it. If you want 2023, you have to look at that span and download it. There's also, of course, some other mile marker time periods that you can use. And then what I like to do, especially for Colorado Gives Day, is you can view by giving event. And so you can view actually by 2023 Colorado Gives Day, 2022 Colorado Gives Day, and so on and so forth. And so that would be a way specific to the Colorado Gives Day date ranges that you can quickly see and download reports. And the other thing I'll mention here while we're on the reporting section is that what you see here in the display is just a snippet of all the data that you get. You do have to download this information. And so that's going to download as an Excel document with everything you might need as far as that transactions that are happening to your organization. When we're talking about integrations, you can also integrate with outside systems. So not with outside donation systems, but with outside donor or data management systems, Salesforce, MailChimp, Slack, Google Analytics and Facebook, HubSpot, Zapier for all of your other needs or systems. And so there is integrations, but it's with your marketing systems and your donor management systems. It's with your financial systems like QuickBooks. And so we do not integrate with outside donation platforms. Does that help answer those questions?
Yeah, that's great, Jordan. Thank you. There's a question in here about the descriptions for checkout forms. So can you, if we ever update that platform, a suggestion was made that maybe we can add descriptions to the recurring amounts. So I don't think we can do that now, but I wanted to pose that just in case there's something I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's a great question, and it does come up. It is logged as a request for us to be able to, in the future, affect both the suggested donation amounts for single donations, one-time donations, as well as recurring. Right now, there is one suggested amount. I'll show you while I'm chatting here.
While she's pulling that up, there's a question that some folks are asking about. Everyone has those people who insist on writing a check because they feel like it's safer. One message, if you wanted to communicate with people who traditionally write you a check, is you can remind them of some of the, there's been a lot of news coverage out lately about check fraud and mailing checks. So maybe it's just a reminder of the safety and security of the platform, that online donations can actually be a safer way to give than even writing a check. But that would be certainly up to you. You know your donors best, but I wanted to put that out there for you.
My aunt sends me a check on my birthday every year, and I'm like, Aunt Linda, I love you, but sometimes those checks don't actually get to where they're supposed to be. And sometimes I don't get my birthday check. So I'm just, that's my personal example of why, checks can be really inconsistent. And yes, there is a lot of check fraud. So that might be one talking point to how you might engage folks to convert away from writing the physical checks to giving online. I think it's also okay to just let these folks know, hey, it is so much easier for me to engage with you, track the things that you like and where and how you're supporting us if you're giving online. And so I think it's okay to appeal to audience of checks writers and just be real with them about the advantages to giving online. I think one of the big advantages and reasons why Colorado Gives Day is a huge success is because all of the nonprofits have been working hard to convert those check donors. And it's a great reason to say, hey, Colorado Gives Day is an online giving event. If you choose to give online versus writing a check this year, your donation will be boosted, or your donation will help us win this power hour, or your donation will help us get further up on the leaderboard. And so that would be the way I might appeal to check writers. I was showing you on the screen the suggested donation amounts. So the question was, can we right now toggle between different monthly or one-time suggested donation amounts? Right now, we cannot, so there's one description available, but we have put that ticket in and are hoping that that is an update that we can provide to you guys in 2025. We, and by we, I mean Mighty Cause, is really, really good about testing the efficiency and the flow of the checkout of these donation forms. And so as you can imagine, making changes is a big deal.
Jordan, while you're in there, can we personalize recurring gift acknowledgement receipts? So switch them out monthly so we can keep our donors informed of kind of what's happening in real time?
So you can create a thank you page as well as a general update to, or excuse me, a general customization to your receipt. And so you can't affect just recurring receipts, but you can customize the receipt that every nonprofit every donor gets. And that's available in checkout, donation form, or excuse me, donation receipts. It's where I went.
Okay,
to
so
make that
all the things we're
customization.
talking about, because I know it's a ton of information, so
Yep.
you will get the recording, you'll get the presentation. When the toolkit comes out, you'll get some messaging on how to speak specifically and some tips on how to use different tools to augment whatever your campaign goals are. So look for that information coming your way. There's a question about okay, I think we answered the donation history one. So let me see one more. Recurring donors. So yes, in order to get the match, if they're already a recurring donor, they'd have to cancel before November 1st. And then they would have to reschedule or set up a new recurring match beginning November 1st. I know some nonprofits did that last year with limited success. I think more people would argue that it's better to keep a recurring donor and use the match to get new recurring donors rather than risk losing that monthly donation that you're so used to getting. Jordan, what would you say to that?
I agree 100%. So yes, technically speaking, that assumption is correct, but I think Cindy nailed it. So you shouldn't be asking recurring givers to cancel a gift ever. Yes, if a current recurring giver on coloradogives.org sets up a new gift this year starting November 1st, that gift still qualifies for the recurring match. You should focus your energy and time on those folks that are low-hanging fruit and that you've identified as potential recurring givers to ask them to set up a new gift.
Great.
Good question.
Hey, Jordan, is there a list somewhere that people can reference that shows all the integrations? Specifically, there's a question about integrating with Blackbaud's Razor's Edge.
Yep. Here we go. So this is the page where you can check all of the integrations. And integrations are available in the advanced features. So there is a fee related to the integrations feature that is $69 a month. And that is a package that includes the embeddable form, integrations, text to give, and a lot of other cool stuff. But this is Zapier. This is where you can check and type in to see if your system integrates with coloradogives.org. And the reason that would be great is because then your donor data is flowing seamlessly into your other systems. And that avoids, of course, the download and the upload that you would do if you didn't have the integration feature.
Jordan,
Good question.
There's a lot of nonprofits that choose to use just Colorado Gives. There's others that choose to use another platform. And then there's some that choose to use both. Can you talk about what the advantage might be to using two systems or to leveraging the Colorado Gives one during Colorado Gives Day? Like, it seems duplicative, so why would someone bother?
Why would someone bother using two systems?
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, so if you are straddled between maybe your national office makes you use a certain system and using Colorado Gives for Colorado Gives Day, that's okay. You do have to use coloradogives.org, and donations have to go through coloradogives.org online in order to count towards all of the incredible incentives. So I think the advantage really to switching gears to leverage, at the very least, from November 1st through December 10th, the Colorado Gives platform is all of the incentives. It's all of the media attention that we are really driving to the site. And it's all of the collective giving. This is the 15th year of Colorado Gives Day. And so people around the state know and recognize and show up for the day. And so that would be the advantages. And again, even if it's just for November 1st through December 10th, for you to be actively leveraging and driving donations through coloradogives.org. Of course, we see organizations use coloradogives.org for all types of reasons all throughout the year, and some really do use it as their main fundraising suite. So it's really a free resource for all Colorado nonprofits at whatever level of digital fundraising that you're at to be able to leverage Colorado Gives Day as well as the platform year round.
Okay, let's take one more question and then we'll
Sure.
let you go on to the next section because I know you have a lot to cover.
Yep.
Venmo, PayPal, what do you have to say about those two other payment methods?
Well, I will say that PayPal is available and built into coloradogives.org. So is Google Pay, Apple Pay is also available, bank account, and credit card. So they have all of the main ways that people are giving built in to coloradogives.org. That means there's no stray PayPal button over here on your website. Everybody gets that option directly through the checkout experience, which is great for all donors because they have choice. And so there's less abandonment on the form. And so as far as differences between PayPal and Venmo, people are giving frequently on PayPal outside of credit cards. We do not offer Venmo because it is expensive and there are some challenges around the data that's able to be accessed through Venmo. And so the main options available on coloradogives.org are the main options that donors choose to give through, which is main one, credit card, PayPal, Google Pay, Apple Pay, and then bank account for any donations over $50. Good question. All right, we good to go? Let's head back in. So we saw peer-to-peer fundraising pages. We talked about the 3 peer-to-peer fundraising page types and how you can create them. We talked about recurring gifts strategy. Now we're going to talk about matching grants. All right, so who is a matching grantor? Matching grantors can be businesses, major donors, groups or boards, and it can be anybody outside of that. If you have a generous person that really wants to maximize their gift and really double the impact of the money that they're giving your organization, they can become a matching grantor. And the benefits to you, enhance fundraising appeal. So we know that matching gifts drive, donors are 84% more likely to give a gift if it's matched. 71% more donors respond to an appeal where a match is presented. And then 51% increase in donations from mentioning a match. So these are powerful numbers. And so by offering a match for Colorado Gives Day or for any of your digital fundraising campaigns throughout the year, you're going to boost excitement and overall giving. It's increased donor commitment. So not only am I committing to giving back to you, but whoa, you are immediately celebrating my gift by matching it. And so it creates a stronger bond, stronger connection, and a better opportunity for you to be following up after that transaction is complete. Stronger relationships with those you're collaborating with. So whether it's a major donor or a business, you are creating stronger and longer lasting relationships through those collaborations. And last, visibility and credibility. So you as a nonprofit, when you're bringing to the table other supporters, that provides your nonprofit credibility to your supporters and network. Other people are willing to put up match funds to celebrate donations to your nonprofit. And so there's a lot of great benefits to you in considering setting up a match. This one's going on right now on PBS 12. They are fundraising on coloradogives.org, and they have set up a match. This is easily found within the search, which we will take a look at. There's some common misconceptions I want to talk about here before we jump into the demo. With matching grants, there's a lot of different types of matching grant tools and functionality out there. coloradogives.org offers the most simple way to create and manage and report on a matching grant online. So you do not need to pay your matching grant through coloradogives.org. So if Coca-Cola gives you $50,000, Coca-Cola does not need to pay that $50,000 through coloradogives.org, but they can, and it's very easy to do. So we'll take a look at that today. If you do not reach your total match amount online, there is no penalty. We are cheering on any amount of funds that you are raising, and we are celebrating any match that you set up. So some systems, if you don't hit a certain point, you don't get any of the money and there's parameters around the match. That is not our system. We want you to set up matches and monitor and manage them in a way that feels good to you. We're never going to take match funds away from you. You can also schedule multiple matches. So again, with the scenario of Coca-Cola giving you $50,000, that's a lot of money. And I hope that happens for at least one nonprofit on the webinar today. But that $50,000 can be broken up. Remember, you're going from November 1st through December 10th, maybe even through end of year. And so break up that matching fund amount to generate excitement and keep up the momentum throughout the year. PBS set up a match, and you can see here on their page that we have the match displayed directly on the donation button. And when you click that, it's going to take you to a description that tells more about the match. So this is a $5,000 match. It's a 1-to-1 match, as we can see down here. And it's for shining a light on immigrant stories, which I love. So highlighting newcomers. And they've got 3 weeks left, and they are chugging along. Hopefully they have a big week this week. So this is what a matching grant can do. It's a visual representation of what you're talking about and how you're exciting your campaign donors and supporters. So let's take a look at setting one up. So I am heading now, again, to my example organization page. I am heading to fundraising tools. I'm heading to matching grants. And here, it's a great example to see some of my past matching grants. So here you can see and run reports on any past matching grants once they close or are fulfilled. And so if I'm toggling down here, I can download a summary report so I can actually see in a couple clicks who was matched. I can see a fulfillment link. So this is where Coca-Cola can, if they choose, they can pay their $50,000 matching grant through coloradogives.org. The benefit to that is that that's going to count towards your overall totals for Colorado Gives Day, towards the incentives. Additionally, with matches, you can also hide the amount from page totals should you want to. So let's go ahead and create a matching grant. So we are first naming the match. Then we are adding an image that represents the matching grantor or the organization. For this one, we'll use company. There we go. Maybe that's not a good one. Let's go ahead and use this guy. All right. Perfect. So that's your visual. Next, you can decide if you want this to be hidden publicly. So maybe your matching grantor is a major donor that just wants to be anonymous. I see a ton of anonymous matching grants set up on the system. You're then putting in the match amount. We do want you to keep checked, include match amount in the page metrics. You can also title your match. Awesome. Now you do have the ability here to schedule your match. So you have the ability to have a start and an end date to any of your matches. Next, you can choose how your match is distributed. So a one-to-one match, which is the most simple way you could set up a match, is 100% matched. And of course, you can adjust this percentage if you want to communicate something different to your donors. Also, when you're setting up a match, you have the ability to match up to a maximum dollar amount. You can also adjust some of the cumulative threshold details. So apply total match when match dollars are raised. Certain number of unique donors, quantity of donations. So again, in a couple of clicks, you have a really robust matching grant that it can be customized specific to your campaign. One thing we want to make sure that you do when you set up a match is you're going to go ahead and unclick include offline donations in this match, unless you want to include offline donations. We feel and we've heard that it can be confusing to include offline donations in a match fund. So we typically see folks unclick that. All of these different settings are optional. And then the last, but certainly not the least, is that you are adding an email to get notified when the match is fulfilled. So whatever email you put in here will get notified when this match is fulfilled online, which means $50,000 was donated, which fulfills that $50,000 match. Select match. Oh, and we gotta put this guy. There we go. All right, guys. So when you're creating a match, you are setting it up and scheduling it for November 1st, right? Unless you have something that's going on in September and you want to use this as well. So you can set up one or multiple matches all from this area. Again, fundraising tools, matching grants. The other thing I'll mention before we move on from matching grants is that fundraiser pages, team pages, event pages, and business pages all have matching grant functionality. And so while you're seeing this on an organization page, you can set up a match on any of those types of fundraising pages as well. All right. So let's pause for some questions before we move on to personalization of your tools. Cindy, are there any matching grant questions that I can answer?
I feel like most of them have been answered.
Okay, great. And
Nothing
folks,
new in there.
good. Well, that's great. And if you need additional support, again, we have the FAQs as well as the how-to videos on setting up a match. Next, let's talk about personalizing your page. And we talked about some of it already, which I love. So today I want to discuss updating your organization page logo, banner, color, page metrics, goals. We're going to talk about the About section, how you can adjust the background section, financials, and tax credits. We're also going to review, which again, we already did a little bit, the checkout flow, which is the donation form, the thank you page, and the automated receipt. Personalization on Colorado Gives is going to be essential. You want people to feel good, and you want people to hear from you as a nonprofit, not necessarily from us, and us as in coloradogives.org just saying, great, you're a wonderful donor, thank you. They want to hear from the nonprofit they gave to. And that means personalization in the Colorado Gives page. It means personalization in your Colorado Gives Day campaign. And in your Colorado Gives Day thank yous. So make sure that personalization is carried out throughout what we're talking about today. All right. So we are heading to the organization page. And for this one, I am going to show you what it looks like to make an adjustment to this page. So at the top here, we are asking people, everybody, you are required to update your banner image. Now you can choose from the gallery, from local files, or any of these other sources to get a great looking image on your page. My rule of thumb is if you are updating your imagery on your Colorado Gives page, it should look and feel like your website, because ultimately people are going to, and they're familiar with the brand of your website. So if that helps guide you into what your selection for banner image would be, I hope that helps. The other thing I'll mention is if you can put faces, furry faces or human faces, personalization within the images of the people you're serving, that is just going to be compelling, and that's across the board. We want you also to be uploading your logo. And so again, similar experience here, very easily, you're able to, with your local files, your current image, or any of these other resources, very quickly upload your logo. You have the ability to change the complementary colors of your page as well. So don't sleep on that. We want this to look and feel like your digital brand experience. And so go ahead and make sure that you're updating from the teal to whatever color makes the most sense for your organization. As we move down the page, I want to point out that you should be setting up your metrics. So just like you're scheduling your match for November 1st, potentially, you should be setting up your metrics on your page for November 1st. And so when you open your metrics here, you can start calculation. You can head to November 1st in a couple of clicks, and you can schedule that your organization page will start counting how much you've raised from 12 a.m. on November 1st. And so that's now going to reflect for Colorado Gives Day, the correct donation totals. Next, we want to make sure that you are updating your goals. So goal setting is really important for any digital fundraising campaign. And that's important for you to track your progress, but also for you to provide updates and generate excitement from your supporters. And so as you can imagine, editing your goal is really simple. You're picking your goal amount. You never have to stick with that. Maybe you're doing incredible and you want to bump up your goal. You can do that at any point. All of this page text is editable at any point throughout your campaign and throughout the year. Next, we want to focus on the About section. And so I'm looking at everybody out there. You have old text content on your page. If you take nothing else away from today, we want you to log in and we want you to take away all of these testimonials that were dropped here when we changed platforms in 2022. If you really feel compelled to keep those testimonials, go ahead and move them here. So you have a sub page and you can name it whatever you want. And that can be any supporting content. Because what we want on your homepage, on your About section, which is where people are spending time before they're taking action, we want a couple of short and sweet sentences that explain your value proposition. What's the problem? How is a donation going to solve it? And why is it so important for donors to show up and give? And so by slightly altering these types of formatting so that both on a desktop and on mobile, this looks and feels authentic to your organization, more people are going to give back. I'll also just mention that these pages can be found in Google search. So they're right below typically your website when someone's searching for you. And so we want this to look and feel like your website so that people feel comfortable making a contribution if they choose and want to make a contribution through coloradogives.org. All right, so we've talked about the About section. I can't stress enough that even if you take just a couple of minutes, go through the exercise of really crafting a value proposition that you think applies to your donor base. Make it emotional, state the impact, and talk specifically to the donors about how their contribution, not how it's affecting your nonprofit, but how it's affecting the communities you serve. We have a ton of value proposition tools and webinars. So if you'd like to learn more, explore our past webinars page. Heading on down the page, I want to make sure that everybody knows that the background statement no longer a required field. And so if it were me and I was running a Colorado Gives Day campaign, I would probably just remove this completely because we want as little text as possible. No one's going to probably spend a bunch of time reading your background statement. You want them to have a couple of sentences that are powerful and then have them either fundraise or donate. And so you have the ability to hide this section or you can edit it, so you can cut it down. If you really feel like your background statement is really important, I might even go so far as moving it up to your sub-content section here, to your custom tab. So those are some ways you can condense your content on your organization page that's public while also personalizing it. We're going to take a look at an example here that's live in a second. I'm heading down the page here because I want to point out two more areas where we know donors are looking to verify their donation before they take action. So in the organization data section, you have a place where you can update financials, which probably sounds scary, but it's not. In a couple of clicks, you're able to edit and update your financial reporting, and it creates a beautiful visual so people can really see in a transparent way how you are accepting funds. And so you're pulling up your 990, you're copy pasting from a couple different lines, and it's showing up as a beautiful visual here for anybody that's interested. And typically people who are looking at this are recurring givers or major donors. Last thing I'll mention here is we have tax credits for Colorado available for you to set up on the platform. So if you qualify for the child care credit, the homeless credit, or the enterprise zone credit, make sure you're setting it up on the platform. All right. So we've talked about the updates we would make to the public-facing organization page. Let's take a quick look at an example. So I'm going to head into our database, And we're going to pull up an example that I love to use. This is Two Blondes All Breeds Rescue, and they just do a great job on Colorado Gives. And so I thought I'd share them with you guys today. As you can see at the top here, they did a fabulous job at leveraging all of the toolkit resources to create a banner image for themselves with all their puppy dogs that they serve. I'm immediately happy. I immediately want to give back. And so that is the power of taking a bit of time to update and use the resources that we're providing for you in the toolkit. Here you can see their problem. They've got a lot of text here. I'm not going to read that. I don't want to know that many testimonials. And so what I would suggest that we do here, again, is we are taking these testimonials folks, you have to be in edit mode. We are taking these testimonials. We are copying. Make sure we're not losing them in case they're important to you. We are removing them from the About section, and we are dropping them in a testimonials section. I might even go a little further and do some fancy formatting here because this is a lot of text. I might also reduce generally the amount of testimonials. That frees up your About section. So let's go ahead and save this. And so what they actually have here is a value proposition. It was just buried in everything else. Thousands of animals are lost or surrendered every year and end up in shelters facing imminent death. Whoa, that is powerful. That is emotional. I want to give back. Won't you please help us save the lives of countless homeless dogs and puppies by making a tax-deductible donation? Great. I would say maybe instead of won't you help us, I would maybe change this to your donation will save the lives. So again, you focus language towards the donor, will save the lives of countless homeless dogs and puppies. And here they are, they're wrapping it up. Your donation will help us give the support we need to make a difference. Now, I think they could even be more specific. What county are they serving? How many animals are they saving each year? But this is a great start to a value proposition that you can use and apply to all your different donor segments. Now, there's some fancy formatting you can do here as well. So I'd encourage you not to leave this as just plain text. Have some fun. Use some different colors. Make it bolder and bigger. And so take a little bit of time to finesse the content. All right. So let's head now to the checkout area. This is the other personalization that you should be updating. So we talked a little bit about this. There's the donation form that you can customize. I'll show you here within the donation form, you have the ability, in addition to those suggested donation amounts, you can have a dedication, which I love. They can even send an email to folks. You can designate, so you can give folks the option to designate funds within the checkout. You can add custom questions. So this is a big one. Pay attention to this one. If phone number is important to you, we have a built-in question that you can add to collect a donor's phone number. That's important to a lot of folks. You do have to click a button for that to appear in your donation form. We do know that having a required phone number, so making your phone number question a required answer, calls for more abandonment. I don't want to give necessarily my phone number. So keep this question unchecked and not required when you're adding it to your donation form. You can, of course, create any of your own custom questions outside of the phone number. So you have the drop-down menu, radio buttons, check boxes. So use this to learn a little bit more, capture the most important information that you need from your donors for Colorado Gives Day. All righty, guys, we are heading to the forms and widgets, unless there are any questions about the personalization that I went through.
There was just one question, Jordan, about being able to like change font size and color and all of that real quick, but I know you're close to time, so.
Yeah. So yes, definitely fool around with it. It's fun and easy to use. I would say this is what I generally do. I center this value proposition. I typically pick a fun color that complements all the other colors on the page. I am typically making it bigger because, again, folks are on mobile and you don't want tiny, tiny text. And so here we are. So this might be just a simple way, maybe play with the formatting so it's easier to read each statement on the page and take a look at it on your mobile device. So just things like this are really easy ways to make the content that you're communicating more impactful. The other two things I would say as far as formatting related to the About section. Keep the content down by adding an image or even better, a URL to a video. So if you have a YouTube or a Vimeo video that is succinct and talks about the power of your nonprofit, it can autoplay. You can drop it in here and autoplay. So you can play with that as well. My other suggested update would be that you can use the URL from the donation form. So you can copy the direct URL here. You can head back to your organization page and you can actually hyperlink the text, put that copied URL in there, insert, and in a couple clicks, you make this a button. And from there, you can update. So this gives a direct call to action right on this page. So when folks click this, they are going right to the donation form.
Jordan, could this page be edited in draft form so they're not making pages to the live page?
It is a page that when you click save, those changes will go live. So there is no draft form, but you need to remember to click save before you navigate away. Good question. All right. Anything else that we can cover on the organization page before we move on? Okay, wonderful. So now we are chatting about forms and widgets. And folks, we can make this really brief because we have webinars and resources, as well as live support to help you to embed these forms if you need it. So let's talk about them. So we know that people prefer to give on your website. And so unless you're running special event pages or team pages or special campaigns, the rule of thumb is people are more comfortable donating on your website. And so we provide two different options for you to use to easily embed on your external website. The first is the widget. So that's free to use just for Colorado Gives Day or year round. It's accessible to you all year. You're going to the fundraising tools widgets area, which we'll take a look at. It's really easy to embed. It can be embedded on any type of website. I haven't met a website that the widget can't be embedded on yet. It takes credit cards. So specifically, which is what people use the most hands down, it is a widget is taking only credit card transactions. It is going to be that same great guaranteed rate, just like the form, just like everything across coloradogives.org, of 2.05% per transaction or lower. And again, if you recall in past webinars that I've done, we've talked about the average effective fee rate for nonprofits on Colorado Gives is 0.43% of that transaction is applied to fees, credit card fees. So incredible savings by leveraging the Colorado Gives widget or form. And then we typically see around $570 per month come through, and that's on average, for all the nonprofits using these widgets across Colorado Gives. Now the form is $19 a month, and that is much more customizable. So you're going to get and be able to provide people on your website a customizable donation experience through the form. Also super easy to embed. You only need to embed it once. And this form accepts credit card, bank account, Google Pay, Apple Pay, or excuse me, and giving cards. You can subscribe and unsubscribe from these forms whenever you want. So you're paying on a monthly basis, which is great. So if you just want to use it for November 1st through end of year, great. We do see a lot of folks adopting these and leveraging them year round, which we'll take a look at. These forms have up to 10 custom questions, so you can really get specific if you want to collect additional donor data. Do I suggest using all 10 questions in the form? No, but it does give you those options that you can edit and update throughout the year. Now, the big kicker here is because of the customization, we can assume this form raises almost $3,000 on average per month for nonprofits using it across Colorado Gives. That is a huge difference. And so we are excited to offer both the free version as well as the really low monthly rate for the widget, or excuse me, for the form. So let's go ahead and see where we can access those. All righty. So when we are heading to the widgets and forms, we can go to Colorado Gives. So I'm going to my organization page. I'm going to fundraising tools. And you can see right here, we got both the embeddable form and the widget. The widget is free, so it's available for you to embed at any time throughout any of your campaigns. You can change the coloring of the widget. If you update your suggested donation amounts, those will reflect here on the widget. People can set up recurring gifts, which is great. And then they're going through their basic information as a donor, and the third screen is their credit card information. So this is a great, compact, cute way to quickly embed and accept donations on your website. You can name the widgets, and you can have multiple widgets too. These widgets are also available on fundraiser pages. So that is the free widget. And when you're embedding it, you're truly just copying that code, pasting that code on the web page where you want it to live. So that is the free widget that you can access year round. Next is the form. So you can see that the form is grayed out here. That's because it is an advanced feature. And so if you ever want to learn more about advanced features, you're going to Settings, Plan Management. From here, you can see that you have the ability to subscribe directly to the embeddable form. $19 a month, billing frequency monthly, yes, please. So it's very easy for you to, in a couple clicks, enable the form and try it out. It's low cost, high reward, very effective form for you to be using, at the very least, for Colorado Gives Day. And that's because all donations run through these forms count towards your Colorado Gives Day totals. We can take a quick peek at what one looks like from the front end. So we're taking a look at Rise Against Suicide. They have an amazing embedded form and donation page. I love what they've done at the top here. Just a little bit of content, a little bit of value proposition and acknowledgement before that donor takes action. And they've simply embedded this form here. On this form, you have the ability to see all of the different built-in donation options. Bank account shows up for anything over $50. Now let's take a look at what that can feel like on the back end. So let's go ahead and find Rise Against Suicide on the back end. So if we head there, we can see that when we go to fundraising tools, embedded donation form, they have it enabled. So we can see exactly what they're experiencing. They can hop here at any point throughout the year, edit and adjust their embeddable donation form, copy the embed code if they want to embed it. They can have their own custom receipt related to this form, and they have their own custom thank you page. And so this can be a really great experience for your donors on your external website while having those donations count towards coloradogives.org. Good question. I'll just answer this because I saw it just come through. Tia, thank you for asking. She asked, if we do the $69 a month plan, does that include forms or is that an additional $19 a month? The $69 does include the embeddable form. So you're getting a great value if you're opting into the full advanced features package. Good question. Do we have any other questions outstanding about embeddable forms? Let's see. Okay, great. So we have one more area to take a look at here, and that is the business pages. Okay, so when we are talking about business pages, we are talking about group giving pages. As a reminder, businesses can come to Colorado Gives anytime throughout the year. We are compelling businesses to come to participate for the Good for Business Challenge. And so what that means is businesses can come to the table, they can create a page in a couple clicks. We help them, we handhold them, we get their page set up, and they can raise funds for one or multiple nonprofits. And also, potentially, if they raise at least $1,000, they can potentially get matched $1,000 for Colorado Gives Day. So additional incentive for them to participate. And so that those matching funds, they're going to the nonprofits that those businesses are supporting. And so let's take a quick peek at creating a business page. We are heading to coloradogives.org where we start for everything. We are going to ways to give. And then we are heading to business giving. Here we have a lot of great content about why businesses can give back and how low of a barrier it is for them to do it in this way. These pages are free for businesses to set up, and they are evergreen, meaning they can leverage them year-round and update them for different campaigns. It's as easy as creating a group giving page in a click, naming that page. Hopefully, there we go. And getting started. And so as a business, when I am dropped here, similar experience. I am updating my banner image in a click. I'm adding my logo in a click. I'm adding a goal for my company to raise for Colorado Gives Day. Let's hope they all raise $20,000, right? Next, a business needs to decide, am I supporting one or many nonprofits? So they can show a list of nonprofits. They can highlight one or many. They can also, in addition to highlighting one or multiple nonprofits on this page, add or hide an option for any of their employees and network that they're sharing this page with to browse all causes. And so let's see what that experience looks like. So here it looks like this particular organization or business, I should say, is featuring agricultural leadership program and Colorado AMP. Awesome. And so this is what they are sharing out with their employees and network of supporters, with the message that for Colorado Gives Day, help us give back and be more philanthropic. businesses have the option, and especially for different employees who may love different causes from what they're featuring, they have the option to select browse all causes. That sends them into the search so that they can select other causes to donate to on coloradogives.org. The cool thing is this page will track anybody who is donating to another cause outside of what's featured here. So these businesses have great insight in a couple of clicks into how they are impacting philanthropy in Colorado. Of course, these businesses also have a story that they can set up here with similar editing capabilities. Businesses have access to reports, as well as matching grants and additional settings. The other thing I'll note here is that your business partners, all they need to do is create a page. And a little bit later on this fall, for any business that has created a page, we will start engaging with them, making sure they have everything they need, sharing business resources with them. So hand-holding them on your behalf to help these businesses become more philanthropic through these pages and for the business challenge. So there was a lot of exciting things happening for businesses on Colorado Gives.
And Jordan, I just want to clarify for Tia real quick.
Sure.
Are you saying that the businesses do have to make these themselves, or can they make them on behalf of their business supporters?
Good question. So we do have a couple of nonprofits that have created these pages on behalf of the businesses. And the business pages themselves, you can have multiple admins. So that is totally an option as well. I just want to be clear, though, that what we're doing for Colorado Gives Day and for the Business Challenge, for any business that creates this page, we are reaching out to them and we are hand-holding them. So if you want a little bit more control and oversight as a nonprofit to help your business partners, you can create this page for them. We're then going to contact you to help you out. But ideally, we're empowering these businesses to really take hold. And as you can see, these pages are really easy to set up. So it's really about checking in with your businesses, making sure that they have the communications and templated resources to spread the word within their networks. But that's a great question. When will business engagement begin on your end? So a little bit further along, probably closer to October is when we'll start engaging with those businesses. Of course, if they need help or support beforehand, our support team, or you can reach out to me and we're happy to handhold prior to that date. But the official handholding begins starting in October. Good question. All right, folks, so we've gone a little bit over time here, but I want to make sure we are pausing and taking any other significant questions with the time that we still have. Okay, so I'm going to take some questions here as we are wrapping up. I have a question here from Jala. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Do we not get donor info with the embeddable form? You always get donor info. We never want you to not have donor info. Your donor info is actually happening in real time in your report. And so you can access your donor data from anybody giving through coloradogives.org, through the embeddable form or the widget, or through any of your fundraiser pages. So you can see the source of those donations. Great question. Let's see.
We also have this one from Caitlin. Do you recommend ever putting the widget in a light box that pops up when people come to the website?
Yeah, I haven't tested a light box, but that could be really cool if it works out. I do believe that the widget might have to be embedded on an actual page. But again, I'm saying that without having clicked the buttons myself to put it in a pop-up. I think generally speaking, having a form on a page versus a pop-up is more reassuring, and there's probably less abandonment. That's just a total guess. So I would say embedding it on a website page and then making sure that the pop-up goes directly to that page might be the way to go. Or maybe that pop-up goes directly to your form on Colorado Gives. There's several ways that you can kind of test and see what your donors are responding to, but that's a great question.
We also had a couple subscription clarifications. So one of them was, if we embed our donation button on our website using the widget, do we have to re-embed if we subscribe or upgrade at other times during the year, or does it automatically adjust when we alternate between the free and the subscription?
Good question. So when you are, say you're only using the embeddable form for Colorado Gives Day. So if you no longer are subscribing to the form after December 2024, and you turn off your subscription, the best practice is to hop into that page and remove the form. I don't think it immediately deactivates. So there's not going to be a poor user experience if, Sally from marketing forgets to take the embeddable form off if you're not using it anymore. So you should not have a poor donor experience if you unsubscribe, but the form still hangs out on your site for a bit. But best practice is to have one streamlined way to give. And so during the time period that you're using the embeddable form, that should be front and center. That should be what all of your donate buttons on your website is connected to. And that really helps you to test how it's working as well. So that would be my advice.
And then there's one more clarification with that, which is, if we do the $69 plan, does that include forms, or is that an additional $19?
Yeah. So go ahead and go right to your settings. It says right in there, forms are included. Let's head there now. So we are heading to, we can't go there. Let's head to Colorado Gives Foundation. Now we are going to settings. We're going to plan management. And here you can see all of the different things that are available in each. So for 19 bucks a month, embeddable form. The advanced fundraising tool set allows you the embeddable form, a full service donor management system, text to give. You have additional marketing and email messaging capabilities, volunteer opportunities. And for me, the big kicker here, besides the CRM and the embeddable donation form, really is the integrations, because that is a huge time saver. So if you are interested in the advanced features, you can do two things. You can get a demo, or you can upgrade. You can have a 7-day free trial, so you can click around. If you are interested in this, I would suggest doing the demo, then doing the free trial. And then if you're satisfied, you can hop in here and subscribe at any time. Good questions. Thank you, guys.
And then do we have like a FAQ or a one-pager that they can share with businesses with all of these options?
Yes, we will have a business toolkit that will be launched with the nonprofit toolkit mid-September. So you will see both of those available immediately. And yes, there will be resources like that to help compel businesses and talk to them about the Good for Business Challenge.
And then the only other thing that I have are some questions from earlier on that I just kind of want to make sure people feel clear about. People, I think, were a little bit confused, just generally big picture. How do they share their event pages, and who do they share those with? Like, what are some good big picture responses to that?
Sure. Who are you sharing your event pages with? So I guess first I'll answer how. So you're sharing the direct link to that fundraiser page, whether it's individual fundraiser, team fundraiser, or event. And you are sharing that with, well, it depends how you're using the fundraiser page. If you're using it for a golf tournament, maybe you're sharing it with everybody who RSVPs. Everybody who RSVPs, yes. Maybe you ask them to create a fundraiser page to help you raise funds towards that golf tournament. And maybe for those who RSVP no, you're saying, oh, so sorry you can't make it. Can you contribute? Take a look at this awesome event page and click the donate button. So it depends how you're using the page relative to what audience you're sharing it with. So it would really depend on the scenario. Does that help answer that question?
I think so. I think that's a good clarification. John also wanted to clarify, do the widgets work for the regional champions page?
Yeah, John, we can talk about that. Hi, John. John is our regional champion for Lake County. So yay, thank you, John. John, you actually have free access as a regional champion to the embeddable form. So we can talk about how we can set that up for you. Good question. Is it possible to create QR code for a fundraiser? Yes. So you have tons of resources out there on the internet to allow you to generate a QR code for any URL. You can do a free QR code generator, or you can do a paid version. But yes, you can and should, if you're doing any print materials, create a QR code that goes directly either to your organization page, to your specific fundraiser page, or directly to your donation form, again, depending on how you're using that QR code. So as streamlined as you can get people to the page where you want them to take action, that's how I would leverage the QR code. Good question, Bobby. Thank you.
And then can they set a fundraiser template for people when they join a team?
Yes, yes. So individual pages, team pages, and event pages all have fundraiser templates available to them.
And then do you have any suggestions for the best type of campaign when doing peer-to-peer, like an event page, or what you think is best?
Yeah. Again, it's a little bit going to depend on how you're using it. So what is the DNA of your peer-to-peer fundraising campaign? I would say traditionally what I'm seeing used most is an individual fundraiser page. So a nonprofit or an individual talking about the campaign and sharing that page out. Or we're also seeing event pages used a lot because they are dynamic and can be kind of branded and manipulated for any type of event that you might use. So those are the ones that I tend to lean towards. But as you can see, there's tons of funds being raised through the team pages, which have very similar features to the event. The difference is the team pages, the leaderboard's a little bit smaller and to the side, so featuring the content, a little bit less of branding opportunity, and no integrations to things like Eventbrite. So team pages also don't have a sponsor section at the bottom. So there's just some of those minor details, but you can't go wrong with either of those page types if you're trying to group a bunch of individual fundraiser pages together.
And then do you think it's necessary to be acquainted with all the other fundraiser organizations on the leaderboard?
That's a cool question. I mean, how great would that be? So you do have, access to connect with all of the different folks that are raising funds. So you can reach out to them individually or group wise from the leaderboard of your team or event page. And so I would say yes. I think the most successful peer-to-peer fundraising pages have someone that's driving it and checking in. Hey, Tommy, I didn't see you clicked or shared your page yet. Hey, Susan, do you need help sharing on social media? And so I would say 100% you should be leveraging these pages to also track all of those campaigns happening within the page.
And they're also wondering, are they going to get donor contact information that they can add to their newsletters and all future communications?
Yep, you get access to all of your donor data from any pages that you're leveraging on coloradogives.org. And so unlike what you might experience with using like a PayPal button or using Facebook fundraising, which we do not suggest, you're not getting at the total amount of donor data that's necessary. coloradogives.org, you get your donor data in real time, and you're accessing that in your reports area of your organization page or fundraiser page.
And then are they able to set up any keywords or phrases in the search feature for donors who are going to Colorado Gives Day in order to search for their organization?
Yeah, let's head there now. So you are setting up search terms in the settings area. Let's see, I believe it's in general settings. Yep. So here you're able to customize your URL. You're able to, which I don't suggest, toggle off discoverability. You want to be discovered. You have alternate search names. So if you're known by a DBA or some other name than what your registered name is, this is where you can add those names. You can add up to 2. You can also add different search tags. So as people are searching in different categories, you can put multiple categories on your nonprofit page. Just make sure they're relevant to what your actual mission is. You don't want to show up in, I don't know, grant making if you're not a grant making organization. Down here, you have social sharing options as well. And so there is some definite customization available. The other thing to note about the search in general is that there's certain ways you can play the system a little bit. So when we head into search and we go into filters, let's look at all page types just for this example. So you can see here that donors can search by page type, by location, by category. That's the search tags on the back end. They can also search by organization size. That's not self-selected. We pull that directly from the IRS database. They can search by tax credits. So it's important for you, if you qualify, to set up those tax credits so that you can be searched in an easier way on Colorado Gives. And last thing I would mention here is if you have a live matching grant, it is so much easier for people to find and get their donations matched. And so for Colorado Gives Day especially, if you can set up a match, you're going to be found easier in the system. You can see this is my PBS 12 example. They pop right up because they have a live active matching grant set up on their system. So that would just be some additional context, I would say, to how you might be discovered for folks that are coming in generally to coloradogives.org.
And then the last question that I have here in chat is just if you can speak a little bit more about the use of the individual fundraising pages for employees of companies whose employer might not want to create a formal corporate Colorado Gives Day fundraiser. Can you speak on that a little bit?
Oh, okay. So yeah, I mean, so there are plenty of different scenarios for businesses to participate. Obviously, the one we're talking about the most is the business challenge with the group giving page. I would be curious, or maybe just challenge your business partner a bit to see why they might not want to create a group giving page. But other alternative options would be, yes, they can create, or you can create a fundraiser page for them, just to talk about their business, have them share that individual fundraiser page out to their network and employees. That's going to allow you to track all the funds raised through that page that's branded for the business. So you could use an individual fundraiser page as well. Those fundraiser pages do not count towards the business challenge or the $1,000 match. But again, we're hoping you're engaging businesses all year round in whatever way suits your business partnership best. So group giving pages with the business challenge, individual fundraising pages are a definite option. You can also engage businesses on an event page because you're able to add their sponsorship logos. So that might be a third option for how you can engage them. And then the fourth option is a matching grant, right? Maybe they don't want to be as public as Coca-Cola about their philanthropy. No problem. You can set up a matching grant and you can either advertise how amazing this company is for giving it to you, or it can be an anonymous match. And so those would be 4 different ways that I have typically seen businesses engaging with Colorado Gives.
And that was all that I have on my end.
Awesome. Well, folks, we took a full hour and a half. I really appreciate it for everybody who stuck it out. And I hope this information was helpful. Again, if you need more support, you should be reaching out to support@coloradogives.org, and we will help you as fast as we can. Thank you, and I hope you have a great rest of your week.